VIP stepmoms, that's you and me.
Hello, VIP stepmoms. I have a really special guest. Today we have Scylla of Stepmoms Club. Now, she's stepmoms, and I love how it goes because she's across the pond. You guys know I'm here in America, and she's like way over there. What time is it there for you, Scylla?
It's 10:20 p.m.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to make this quick, but I'm so happy that you have us on today. You are such an amazing influencer. I love what you're doing in the realm of stepmothering, and you're one of these people that's showing us that we are not all so different because you are, well, I mean, you guys speak English, but you speak like such a beautiful version of English that, and I'm going, how is my British accent? Is that good? Is it, no?
It's terrible.
So obviously culturally we are different. We have different influences. You and I have grown up thousands upon thousands of miles away from one another, but we have one thing in common, and that's the fact that we fell in love with a guy that has children.
Yes.
Some other lady, and we are trying to debunk some of the myths that are associated with our roles. So first, tell us a little bit about you and your platform and how you got started.
Okay, so about me, when I was about 27, that's when I got married. So I had dated my now husband for about a year, and then we got married when I was 27. But when I met him, I already had a daughter from a previous relationship, but I wasn't co-parenting because he didn't want to be a dad, deal with any kind of drama on that side. But my husband had two sons from two different women. One relationship was a real one. The other one was a casual thing that ended up with the child. So so we got married. One of my stepsons was not allowed to attend the wedding. The other one came, and that kind of set the tone for, 5 years down the line now. They both dislike me. With their mutual dislike for me, they've become friends, I guess.
Wait,
because they never used to talk before yet, so that's good for them.
Sweet. They have like a let's hate Scylla sorority.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's perfect for them. And in my kind of struggling to get over my naivety of like, why don't you like me? Why am I not invited into the group kind of thing? I got really depressed. I found out I was 4 months pregnant at the time, so that probably contributed to my upset. And then I just decided to set up to look for help online, and all the help that I found was birth mum bashing stepmum or stepmum bashing birth mum. But my kind of ending thought is always, okay, so what now? We vented, we've shared, so what do we do now? Because I'm actually still angry. And then I thought, I'll just kind of create the change that I wanted to see. I didn't really like Facebook that much, so I went to Instagram, started a new page, and I just thought my whole kind of MO would be about addressing the elephants in the room, kind of discovering how we can get over certain issues, and just basically confronting our issues that we can actually try and resolve together. And then my space is an open space, so birth moms, stepmoms, dads, all types of people can be privy to the conversations and maybe think, oh, maybe that's how my stepmom feels. Oh, maybe that's how my birth mom feels. And it's just kind of grown from there.
So one thing that I absolutely love that you have done as far as bringing different sides together. Guys, Scylla is so bomb that some sort of way she got birth mothers and stepmothers in the same room, and BBC, you guys know who that is. They came in and they documented what this real conversation actually looked like. As a matter of fact, let's watch a couple of seconds of it right now.
What do you think my role is in your child's life?
You're a stepmom, innit?
What do stepmoms do?
I feel like you only got that
title
because you married.
But what do you think stepmoms do? Do you think we like do spells, and do you think like we're trying to take the heir to the throne? Like, what do you think we do?
But do you know what? Let's look at the situation. Not like you're there like for my child initially. My child is a part of the package.
So then is the answer?
So you can't
that
say
your
my
mum is
role,
nothing?
my role.
Then-
No,
then
I wouldn't
what
say
is
I wouldn't
it?
say you're nothing, but your
Then what is
your
it?
emphasis is I just feel is exaggerated.
Whoa. Scylla, how did you make that happen? How did you get these people in the same room and then call BBC? Like, what type of hookup do you have to get this to happen?
No hookups. It literally was. Obviously, I'm a mum, so I became a mum when I was 22. So I've always been, you know, around other mothers as I was growing up. So I've always had mum friends. And then when I became a stepmom, that was a bit harder, but through my platform, I met loads of stepmoms as well. And I had this kind of idea from way back when. And then I literally just sent a DM to one of the legs of BBC and I said, hey, this is my idea, this is my reason why. And I really feel like it's a conversation that is beyond kind of what's happening in the news, and it's not very seasonal, but it's definitely relevant to kind of society because that's where this stigma comes from. And I know there'll be loads of people that, you know, want to have these conversations but can't necessarily have these conversations, and they absolutely lapped it up. They loved it, and it is basically a one of a kind video. It's not happened anywhere else in the UK anyway. And so yeah, the BBC, they definitely wanted to be the ones to say this is the content that we produce.
Now, when I was watching that video, I could tell where there was, like, people were on the precipice of disagreement because it got tense a couple of times. What was the hardest thing to talk about between the moms and the stepmoms?
It was a while ago now, but from my memory, I guess it was around permission. So it was a thing of, well, if my husband or my partner said I can. And then the birth moms will be like, well, that's my child, and if I say you can't, you can't. And then we get to a kind of place in the middle, like, what do we do? Do we bump heads? Do we stick to what we want to do in our household, or do we try and compromise? And I feel like in the conversation, a lot of the time, we do leave the dads out because the dads don't necessarily want to get involved.
Yeah.
And we try to level with each other as mothers, as women. But we also found in the end, where you didn't get to see all the roundups of our conclusions, was that if you are a childless stepmom, your say is way less impactful than if you have a child yourself, because then the birth mom feels like you should understand where I'm coming from. Whereas
Right.
if you've never had a child before, you're not nowhere near a real mum. As a stepmom, you're not a real mum anyway. If you don't have a child from your womb,
It's
you're
kind of like, what do
a
you
mum.
know? You're not in, like, you don't have a child. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's dangerous, because then what happens with teachers that don't have biological children, or Sunday school teachers, or other women that are influential in children's lives who may not have gone through labor, but still, and for God's sakes, I mean, my gynecologist is a man. He deals with hoo-ha's all day, and he never, like, you just, you know, so I guess, like, I'm a childless stepmom, and so I don't want to be defensive in that fact, but it is easy to say, well, you've never done this, so you don't know. But then you take away a person's ability to empathize. What if they are empathetic, or what if they just happen to love your kid because your kid's a great person? One of the things that you said about permission, that's come up a lot, probably for a lot of us, me especially.
Yeah.
I remember at one point it was, I would get, don't post pictures of my child on social media.
Right.
And for the longest, I adhered to that because I didn't want my stepkids to get in trouble because I was depicting them having a great time with me. Because I never wanted my face or me to be the reason, like, oh, you're having fun with her? You know how it is that manipulative things happen with kids, and kids are afraid to have fun with you because they kind of feel like you've exposed it. And at one point, before we had a summer vacation, I even got an email, and I had to agree and sign it. This was in my naive stepmom days before I joined a law firm.
Right. Oh, wow.
I already know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I work here. I'm a part of a law firm right now. All female run law firm. The lady that started it is a stepmother who is now a custodial stepmother because she was like, look, I'm going to go to law school and handle this myself. And she went and helped her man to get custody of her stepson now, who's turning 18, who's about to start college. Yeah, she doesn't play games. So these are the type of girls like that I'm tight with. You know, so before I knew the rights, I just didn't want drama. And I was thinking, well, you know, it is her kid. She posts pictures of this child, and she doesn't really confer with my husband to post these pictures, but I get it. You know, I get it. I'm like stranger danger. But then I realized after a while that there was nothing that I could do to appease this person. And you know who gave me permission? The man who I sleep with every night, who created half that baby. So when I told her, I said, honey, I won't post your child. I'll just post the half that belongs to my man. So let's finish that right there.
That's it.
So, you know, I think a lot of stepmoms will take the submissive position because you don't want to ruffle feathers and you think it's going to be cool. But if birth mom shows you that she is not, whatever you do is mud, your name is trash, girl, what you going to do?
That's it. Because you'll drive yourself nuts trying to comply. You'll drive yourself absolutely loopy. It will affect your household. So what is the point? I mean, in terms of that subject, my husband didn't post pictures of his children before we got together. So in that respect, I could comply.
Yes.
But also you're thinking about the children as well, where, you know, you're constantly posting your child and maybe the other stepchild. And then the one high conflict birth mom is, you know, creating so many avenues to allowing her child to feel left out of so many major things and minor things in the household in which he comes to see his father in. But then again, that's something that she has to work out with her son when he gets the nerve to confront it. I know that anything negative that happens to my son, my stepson, has nothing to do with me, and I've tried my hardest to facilitate his inclusion in our family. But if she wants to keep pushing and causing drama that affects my household, I feel like, unfortunately, my stepson has to feel it, and it will become her issue when he becomes an adult and he's strong enough to confront it.
I like to ask all women like us, at what point did you become unbothered? I know for me, it was just one day I woke up like, wow, IDGAF.
Yeah.
Wow. But do you remember that moment when it just snapped for you, when you went from super bothered, frazzled stepmom to, I don't care, I'm unbothered?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't a snap moment. It was a conversation that I had with my husband, actually. And I basically just broke it down. I said, I not only can I not do this anymore, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to deal with the drama that you know, did not resolve before you met me. And, you know, if it means me getting close to your sons causes me this type of distress, knowing that my birth children actually need me too, and I'm the only parent that they have besides you, I just won't do it. I'm going to completely disengage from being a stepmom, disengage with any issues you have with these women. And the only way to avoid that is if you tell me, regardless of if the absolute worst happens, you've got my back. And I just left that with him. And then he came back to me and he said, you know what? I want you to know that I do have your back. I know I haven't shown it in the past before, but I guarantee you that, you know, I have your back now. And the worst did happen. We did not see one of our sons for months. Like, I'm talking about virgin 7 to 8 months. And all the while she was telling everyone it was my fault. I'm the reason why.
It was you?
Yeah. I don't know what I did, but it was my fault. I don't know, you know, did I not feed him enough? Did I throw his clothes in the trash? I don't know what I supposedly did. But at the same time, it wasn't a question that she could answer anybody either. So loads of family members got involved and loads of opinions got thrown about. And as a result of it, I don't speak to a lot of my husband's family anymore either. But my husband was unmoved. He was like, you won't come for my wife like this, you won't. And then when I felt like I really had his support against even his own family members, that's when I thought, I'm just gonna do what I wanna do. I'm gonna call my sons, I'm gonna roll out with my sons. I don't care who sees us, who reports back to her, because what can she really do? What can she do? She's done the worst. What was she going to do? She's going to kill me? She's not going to kill me. So, you know, what can she do? And then when kind of all of these anxieties that I had about the unknown just disappeared, I just thought, I've wasted a lot of time. I'm just going to get on now.
Yeah. So I know why you started the platform. I always like to ask women this. And people ask me this all the time, like, what does Toni think about your job? What does your husband think about your job, which has become an amazing mission?
I mean, in the beginning, I don't think he really understood what it was I was doing. I think he just thought I was just having a gossip online. But then as he saw me making like proper content, he just basically said, you know, for all the times I got tired and had trolls in my DMs, he said, you know what, Priscilla, this is bigger than you. And even if you wanted to quit, you couldn't, because you're helping people all around the world, and it probably is bigger than you thought it ever would be. But these people, they need you. And I feel like God has revealed your purpose, because you know, your stepmothering journey was never meant to be easy, because had it been easy, you wouldn't be in this place now where you're helping so many women that seem to be having the same issues, right? And in the UK,
that he made before he met you kind of set in place.
It's all orchestrated,
what
yeah.
the journey would be like. I tell my husband the same thing. It's like, you ordained this for me, so
yeah. There was no mistake here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because God, if somebody told me, do you want to be stepmom? Hell to the no. You know, if I could marry a virgin man, that would have been me, front of the queue. Yeah, that's my man. But then I got this guy who was loose. He had 2 children by 2 different, like he was a womanizer. Actually, I don't really know how I got here, because on paper, he's just no. But, you know, praise God, he's got a full circle. And as much as he's birthed my kind of purpose now, I believe that I've helped him develop into a man that is so much better than he was before. He's so much more respectful of women. He takes his fatherhood.
Maybe that, you know what, Scylla, though, maybe that's part of the problem. Because one thing I saw in a nasty text that my husband got, before we got married, it said, why are you so good to Naja? Why are you always defending her? Why do you treat her like this? I have your children. And then it kind of, I was like, I see what it is. I see what it is. You know, like we have better versions of these guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, these women just have kids to show for their experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I can understand why, you know, one would be upset.
So can I. Absolutely.
What do you think it is? Like, you know, I always like to ask, and this is such a blanket question, but like, why are they so mad? What makes, you know, from your experience, and maybe not with your own high conflict situation, but maybe speaking in general senses, why are the HCBMs, like, where did they get this HC part from? Why are they so damn mad?
I think for me in general, most women, birth mums, they don't have the choice when their children gets into blended families. And it's as if control gets sucked away from them so quickly that they don't know how to act. There's not enough time for them to process. And then in that space of realizing that you don't have the same control over what is happening with your child, a lot of pride rushes in, a lot of anger rushes in, and past hurt, whether you realize it was there or not, rushes in. For my birth mums, one of them, she's just airy fairy. I mean, her head is in the sky. She's trying to hold on to her youth. And the idea that somebody is really trying to place structure and discipline in her child puts her off, because she doesn't want to feel like she's not mothering him the way he ought to be mothered. But at the same time, the type of mother that I am is children need structure, children need discipline. So when he's with me, this is what I'm going to give him. I'm not doing it to spite you. This is what I see my son needs. With my high conflict birth mum, her issue is very simple. My husband attained everything that she wanted first. Had she got it first, she wouldn't give a damn. It's not even about me. My husband got married first. My husband graduated from uni first, and she still hasn't. My husband was driving. My husband put on weight and started dressing well. My husband is literally right now the perfect guy that you can bring home. Whereas she is with the guy that she left my husband for, and he hasn't married her however many years later.
He's probably not going to.
He won't. He's a serial cheat. He is a criminal. He's everything that you cannot bring to see your parents. So she's looking at my husband.
I understand why she's pissed off at
I
all
get
of
it,
that.
but
Because
I don't
you
care
want the
anymore.
life that she could have had.
Absolutely.
If it were not for you, you know,
My
maybe she
husband would still be in the gutter and she would be happy, because before I came along, she didn't trouble my husband as much as she troubles him now. And my husband had other girls before me. I wasn't the one after their breakup. So I feel like, and obviously because me and my husband, we met, became official, got engaged and got married within a year, she was telling members of my husband's family that it's not going to work. I know him. It's not going to work. It never works. And the fact that I got to the church altar, I think she just thought, oh no, hell no. I'm gonna make his life miserable. I don't think she wants to split us up, but I feel like she just does not want to heal. She doesn't want to heal.
I bet so many women out there are just like, amen, because for me, it sounds like you're talking my life story. For a lot of people, you know, that are going to be watching this, you're talking theirs too. There's something about, you know, watching a person move on before you and you started there with them. And I used to see that a lot. Like, I know him. And I would just say, no, baby girl, you knew him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You knew him.
Absolutely.
The person that I have now is a complete stranger to you.
Yeah.
And I've even heard my husband say that, like, you don't know me. Stop telling people that you know me. At one point, he was just so upset with some of the shenanigans. He was like, I'm a little ashamed, you know what I mean? For you to even say that, to be connected because of what you are doing and how vile and how low you're willing to go.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, I'm working on a book on high conflict bio mom because, you know, the reason I started doing this is for that exact same situation. I just never knew there existed a type of woman, a type of mother. Like, I thought it was on TV. Like, I saw the movie Precious. I was like, oh, that's not like, but that's some people's real life. Yeah. I saw Dearest. Like, I thought that was on TV. You know, and here we are trying to live alongside it. How do you navigate showing your stepchildren love, knowing that they have mothers that would rather them not love you back?
I'm going to say that I don't think I have the answer to that yet. I literally go with my mood. Often my mummy day outs fall on when the boys are here. So sometimes they don't even see me for a whole weekend because I'm out being a single, non-childless woman. Like, but when I am with them, I feel like, because my biggest challenge was being a mum to boys after giving birth to 3 girls, the best way I can relate to them is just on banter. So like, we tease each other, we joke. I treat them like one of my mandem. I don't really see them as like my sons, only if they're out of line or there's like a discipline issue. That's when I kind of revert and then I get a bit strict. But when everything is fine, it's like, I remember after I hadn't seen one of my sons for 7 to 8 months, when he did finally come here, the first thing that he said to me was, Auntie, look, I've got a 6-pack. And when I'm in school, I go to the gym every lunchtime. All the girls fancy me, but I don't like any of them. That's all he had to say to me. He didn't tell me that he missed me. I didn't tell him that I missed him. It's as if nothing happened. And I feel like our interaction is okay that way. Whereas the other one, because there's a difference of culture, the son with the high conflict mother, we're from the same background, we're all Ghanaian. But my other son, he's half Caribbean, right? So I just tease him on the Caribbean side. I'll be like, hi, Jamaica. Oh, you think you're so nice? Like, I'll try and speak patois, things like that. And he'll be looking at me like, will you stop? Kind of thing. So that is, I feel like that's how I express my affection Whereas with my girls, I'm a lot kissy, I'm a lot touchy-feely, loads
And
of
they're
fun.
girls too. They
Yeah,
are.
exactly. I don't feel like I could do that with any boy, and they are older. They are the older children as well, and my
So,
girls are the younger ones.
so looking into cultural differences. So one
Yeah.
is a Jamaican background, and
Yep.
your family is from Ghana,
Yep.
and your husband as well.
Yes. He's
Okay.
from Ghana.
So I always like to ask, like, especially in the day and age that we're in, digging deep into cultural. What are the cultural differences that you notice between the Ghanaian and the Jamaican?
No.
I know what my assumptions are, but what are
And they're
your
probably right. There's loads. There's loads. And do you know what? I don't want to be like offensive.
yeah.
But I just feel like, especially me growing up when I was young, children respond better. The Caribbean children respond better to grandparents than they are to their actual parents.
Okay.
And obviously there's no grandparents here, so I feel like with my Caribbean son, he feels like he's on par with us in terms of, attitudes, responsibility, and it's like, no, you're not. Whereas
Your
with
child. Yeah.
whereas with my Ghanaian son, he's very, can I, shall I, when can I, that respect is there. With my Caribbean son, he will call me by my first name, no problem. And that's something we have to correct from the jump. I am your elder. Even though I'm a mother figure, you don't get to call my first name. I am auntie. That is my title. Whereas with
Auntie.
yes.
So
I'm
is that a cultural thing where the stepkids will say auntie, or you'll call an older woman?
Yes.
Oh.
So me, I'm 32 now, but if someone that was older than me and they gave me, for example, if there was someone that was older than me but acted like she was on par with me, I probably wouldn't call her auntie. I would call her the name that she gives me. But if there was like a very older lady, like it may be in her 60s or something, she wouldn't even get the chance to tell me her name. It'll just be like, hello, auntie. Even if I'm in the shop and it's the Turkish man serving me, it's hello, uncle. That's just how, yeah.
I didn't know that. That is cool. I like that.
I didn't even know my mum's name until I was like in secondary school, until I was like 13. I didn't know what my mum's name was because no one called her by her name. That was my age group.
Yeah, and they better not.
Yes, it's rude.
Like I know, like my stepkids call me Miss Naja.
Yeah.
And they started shortening it because Miss Naja, it's like Miss Naja. They started shortening to my Naja, so they're like Manaja. So that's
nice.
Yeah, but the oldest one, she definitely enunciates Miss Naja. But she's a teenager and she was more kind of indoctrinated in the toxic when things first happened. So it's you develop different relationships with all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I ask all of my guests this, all of my experts this. If you, looking back, what was the one thing that you wish you would have done differently when you started this stepmothering journey?
I would have listened to my husband.
Okay, break it down.
Oh my goodness. I think when I first got married anyway, I believed that I was that submissive woman. I was going to submit to the head of my household, that I've got this. Then, shortly after getting married, I could see that I had a lot of control issues. So then when my husband came at me as in, leave them alone, don't worry about it, you don't need to be friends with them, you don't need to meet them. I was like, no, okay, I've got this. I'm a woman. Okay. I'm a mum. I understand. You don't understand. You left them single parents. You've done this to them. Let me talk to them. It's going to be okay. And then at one point, my husband was just like, I'm tired. I'm just tired of you. So you do what you want to do. And then I said to him, okay, so from your phone, text them this. So he texted it and I said, okay, send it now. And then he sent it. I got air from one of them. The other one ignored it. And then the high conflict one was like, but why does she want to meet me? What brought this on? And then my husband didn't reply back to her. And then I remember the first opportunity that she had to snub me in front of everybody, friends and family, was when my mother-in-law passed away. And we had a traditional funeral. And what you have to do is come in, move from the right-hand side, shaking everybody on the front row until you get to the high
And the
table.
family does that on the family side. Wait, was
So-
she sitting amongst the family
No.
side?
Oh, hell no. Stop that. No.
Hey.
Came in as a guest mourner, right? And she comes in with other people. You shake hands from the right until you get to the head table where the chief mourners are, which mean my husband, his sister, their spouses, and aunties and uncles, right? She shook everyone's hand. I had my hand out and she just skipped me. And everybody saw that.
Where was the child? Where was the child?
They were there.
So the child, so how does that go though? Does like when a parent passes away and the mother is high conflict, does the child sit with the father and the mother just sits off to the back somewhere?
Yeah. So some of the children were sitting near us, but the older children, they just can't be bothered. So they were just doing their own thing somewhere. Okay. Yeah. So they don't have to sit down, but obviously the older you are, you must sit there. You have to. So I didn't have a choice. I had to sit there.
So
and she slapped me.
Shaking hands, shake her hand, shake his hand, you
It's me.
Shake the next person's hand.
Yeah. Everyone saw it. It was a major, major sign of disrespect. And that's when I really blew my lid. And my husband just looked at me like,
you didn't say anything right there, did you?
Oh, hell no. So the family can insult me. No way. No, as soon as I got to my sister-in-law's house, I was like, I was swearing, I was cursing. I was like, this woman, do something, call her now. I was completely out of my character. Because culturally, you really did set the tone. You let the whole room know I've got an issue with this woman here.
You let her know, like, it's war with this particular woman.
Basically,
right
she let everyone know what the issue was. And she claims to be this very private person. She don't like people in her business, but you let the whole room of 100+ people know that there's a situation here. And you
were married at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was married. I had his child. We had like our first ours baby at the time. And I was cradling that child as well. Her son's sibling.
Baby, shaking the hand.
Yep. And she aired me. And I think that's the first time I blew up. And then my husband was just like, well, what did I tell you? And then it happened again. And then my husband was like, well, what did I tell you? And then from then I said, okay, well, I'm done. I tried. At least I tried. And I'm at peace with that. But you can't force anyone to interact with anyone in this world. And if she really doesn't want to interact with me, I know I tried. The only issue I've got now is that should she ever have a change of heart 5 years down the line, I don't know if my heart is open anymore. I'm not sure. I would like to say that my heart is open.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. That's my only big issue now.
I made a recent post about that. Like, hey, you know, well, what if she's in the post? I think
Turns
I said,
around.
Stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
And there were so many women that had suffered so much trauma at the hands of this woman that they don't know if they can open their hearts. And I can completely respect that. But I do know that people change.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like some people suffer from situational depression, that doesn't mean they're manic depressive. That doesn't mean they have a chemical imbalance. Like, I've seen people fall into a slump because they lost a parent or lost a spouse. And for 6 months, they're depressed, and then they start to grow out of it. That doesn't mean they're necessarily a person that's going to battle, because some people battle depression their entire lives.
Yeah.
So sometimes I like to say, you know, we really need to determine, is this woman situationally high conflict, or is this who she is? Now, the fact that your husband told you, he told you.
He told me.
And these men know these women far better than we do.
Absolutely.
He was like, you need to chill.
Yeah.
When you got your ass handed to you, he was just like, this
yeah.
So listen, that's a good piece of advice. Listen to your man. Listen to your man. He knows this woman way better than you ever will. Yeah. All right, Scylla, I thank you so much, you all. As you can see, her name is right here. Please hit her up, visit her, follow her on Instagram, support her. She's doing amazing things. And this is Naja Hall. Who knows who we're going to have for next month's expert interview? You see, we're all over now. We're global. VIP Stepmom is a global brand, and we're bringing stepmoms right here from all over the world right into your home. We'll see you ladies next time.